This lines, this is my starting point. This is my bust line. This is my waist line, my hip line, and
I'll make
the entire
inputs
dress for the full length. So these lines are just for guide.
8.5,
It's not really necessary.
and I want it to be around, which is around 11 inches more. Come down by 2 inches for my shoulder slope. Then I'll take my armhole measurement. Here I'm going to be using, say, 10 inches plus 1 inch seam allowance. That will be around 11 inches, and that is it here. So overall what I have here is 19 and a half. So minus 1 inch, it will be around 18 and a half here to get my armhole slope. It has to be slopey somehow. So what I'll do is to join these points together. Then I'll have this. So what I did here was to mark 3.5 for my neck width, which I'm going to increase later on, and I came down by 2 inches from the starting line for my shoulder slope. Then I took 10 inches plus 1 inch seam allowance to hold it on the shoulder and underneath, which gave me 11 inches. And for me, I wouldn't want this to be too free because I don't like my dresses too free. So what I will do is come to my hip measurements just like the normal way you do your Bubu, but I always like mine a little bit fitted around the waist area to give that defined waist area. So what I'm going to do here is to mark my hip measurements, that is 11.75, and I will add 2 inches seam allowance. I think 2 inches is fine for me. I don't want it too big. Then I will add 1.5 seam allowance. Then here on this line, which is my waistline, I'm going to be adding my waist measurement, which is 10. Like I said, I want it a little bit fitted around my waist. I've taken a measurement of 4 by 8, so I will now connect it. I don't want it to be so sharp, so in a v-neck form. I don't want it too pointed. Like I said, if you're not on the plus size and you want your dress so full, you just come in from here by say 1 inch, 2 inches, and then take it straight down. That is with your hip measurement and the allowance that you've already added to it. You just take it straight down. But I like having some delineation around the waist area. So we're almost done, and this is the front neckline, and for the back neckline I think I'm going to use 1.5 inch or maybe 2 inches. By the time I hold it this way, it will give me 1.5 inch. So that's about it. So we're going to cut this out, and I will now introduce the fabric that I will use for the collar. Remember, we are working with a patch work. It's going to be beautiful. That's it. So here I'm going to cut it out. I'll cut it out and I'll show you what it looks like when I'm done. So I've gone ahead to add a black fabric for the cape on the neck, just like a collar. So all I have to do is I folded it and added it underneath the dress to cut out the neckline and the shoulder slope, just this way. So here I'm gonna remove this upper part because this black material will just show just on the front. I just want to have it just on the front. And for the size of my cape, I will make it 4.5. It's going to be on fold, two ways overlapping each other, add your interfacing. So 1/2 inch for seam allowance to hold it to the neckline, and 1/2 inch seam allowance also for holding two of it by the outer side. So I'm going to be marking 4.5 inch, and as we know here, I'm going to make it at 1.5 because after turning it I still want to have some of the black material around here, just a bit. So I'll take it this way. You can draw any shape that you want. For me, I think I'm okay with this. Make it somehow like a V, come out this way, and I think I'm fine with this. So I'm going to be cutting 2 of these, and I will apply interfacing on one of them, use the other one to turn the other to make it stable. So remember, we said it's going to just be appearing just on the front side. And for the back, here is our back. For our back, I'm going to use this fabric for the back facing. I'm going to be cutting the back facing with this fabric. I've gone ahead to cut out this for the sleeve. I've gone ahead and cut lining for this, the Ankara part. I want my Ankara part to have lining, so I'll be turning it from the down upwards. As you can see, it's going to be a full lining for my Ankara side. I've gone ahead and do that for both the front and the back. So this here is my front piece, and this is the cape. I've gone ahead to add interfacing to my cape. I used the red material for my cape. I've added interfacing to the both of them, and I will just match them up together and sew on the outside from here to this place, then here, and then there. Then I'll turn it out, give it a good press. We'll leave this side open because that's what we are going to be attaching to the neckline of the front. We'll turn it from the wrong side outward to the right side. So that's that for the front. And for the back, I've gone ahead to cut the facing for it. I've pinned the facing. Now for this back, we are going to be turning the facing on the right side to the wrong side of the dress. So I've gone ahead, pin it up. I'll sew 1/2 inch around the neckline. Then I'll serge here, give it a good press, and I'll show you what it looks like. And here is for my turn-up sleeve. So I've gone ahead, added my interfacing, and when it's time, I'll show you a sewing tip to make this turn-up sleeve to be as neat and as easy to sew as possible. So I'll go to the sewing machine, turn the lining piece, turn the neckline, give them a good press, and I'll show you what it looks like. So here we are done with our turning and ironing. As you can see, it's as neat as it can be. And here is the down part, very well turned and neatly ironed. So at this point, you want to make sure that your pieces are equal. So you fold it back, get the second side, fold it back as well, and be sure to place them. Okay, I'm turning this on the right side already, so let's do this. So you want to make sure that they are equal at the down part. You don't want any one longer than the other. Okay, make sure that they are properly aligned. Good. This way you'll be sure that they are equal here, because when joining, if you don't do necessary trimmings when joining, you are going to find out that maybe one is longer than the other or something like that. So make sure, take your time to trim where necessary. As for me, I don't think I need any trimming. I don't think I need any trimming. As you can see, they are equal. So what I will do now is set this aside. Set this aside. So here is my back part, and this is my collar that I turned. As you can see, is beautiful, neat. Can't you see? And I love the curves. Down there is looking so perfect and beautiful. So what I will do is I'll go ahead, pin this. You could take your time to do the pinning properly, and when I'm done pinning, I also have an inch on this neckline. Then when I'm done, I'll turn the collar to the right side and top stitch on the main dress. So I will do that. And also another thing I will do, because I don't want this video to be too long, is to bring both for the front and for the back. As you can see here, here is my notch, and for my Ankara, here is my notch too. So remember to always notch. Here is my notch. So I'm going to be joining the upper part notch to notch. See what I'm saying? So from here I sew this way, come back to this notch and sew to the other way. This way everything will align and be at the center. So I will do this for both the front and the back, and I'll come back to show you so that we'll do the joining. We are done with our joining, and as you can see, the cake well ironed flat, so this is my back, all joined. As you can see, the joining is neat and well done. So we'll start our joining. Place them right side to right side, facing each other. As for me, I like pinning from the down part. When I turn with lining, I prefer to pin from downwards so that I'll be sure that everything aligns properly. So whatever it is that you need, any more adjustments that you will need, you have to trim from the upper part. I mean, that's the essence why we make sure that this is aligned properly well. So here we start our pinning. Is that simple? I'll go ahead, take my time, pin on one side, and then go to the other side and pin properly. So when I'm done pinning, I will take my body measurements. I'll come to this side, do the same as well. When you have a longer table, this is very much easier. Personally, I prefer doing my pinning on the floor, because my table is not large enough to contain the full length of this dress. So take your time, even if it means staying on the floor. Take your time, make sure everywhere and everything aligns properly, and do your pinning to hold things in place. So when I'm done doing this, you see, it's automatically everything will align. That's because we are very intentional about making sure that it aligns, making sure that our seam line aligns properly. So when I'm done pinning, I'll do this gradually off camera. So when I'm done doing this, I'll take my body measurements. Then for this neckline, assuming that after pinning you find out that one edge is longer than the other, just trim appropriately. Trim appropriately. Alright, so I'm done pinning. I went ahead and searched the rough edges, and here it is. I've also taken my body measurement, as you can see, and here I left about 14 inches space for my slits. So I don't want this gown to go all the way down. I want it to have slits on both sides of my gown. There is going to be slits so that I can be able to walk easily. Like you notice when we were doing the cutting, I only added 2 inches seam allowance because I don't want it too big. So you go ahead and do what is your preference. So here I have just a little bit of fabric, so I'm going to trim everything out to make it more smooth and equal. So if you did your calculations right and do your necessary trimmings, it won't be much of a hassle. So I'll go on and trim just to have a smooth slant on the shoulder. So as you can see, so now what we are going to do here is to turn the shoulders. That's the first thing. So we turn the shoulders this way. You see, we hold it this way. This is how I like turning my shoulders. Then we pin. Pinning helps a lot. You have to pin. If you want to have a smooth and easy flow walk, you really have to pin. You pin and pin. So here I'll do the same. Use the back to cover the every other ones. Comes this way, and then you do your pinning to hold it in place. And this way too as well, you hold it in place. So now we are going to be joining the shoulders by half an inch or any amount of allowance you left. So you join it, get to the tip of the sleeve, do the same, get to the tip of the sleeve. Okay, so I'm done joining the shoulders. I'm set to trim off my sleeves to make sure that they are all equal. As you can see, everything is equal. So what I'm going to do now is to open up some pins so that I will have a flat. Okay, so here, this is what I'm talking about. So I now have a smooth, this, both the front sleeve and the back sleeve. So all I have to do is, remember I said, is the wrong side of the main dress facing the right side of my turn-up sleeve, what I'm going to be using for my turn-up. So I'm going to pin. Then when it gets to this joining, make sure that it is flat on the side that represents the back. Like this is the back, the front does not have any form of facing, so it's going to be facing this way. I like doing it that way so that everything will align. So continue pinning. If you prefer opening the seams, open so that they will be flat, fine. But I prefer doing it like this. I prefer everything going towards the back. So I'm going to do this, sew it with 1/2 inch, which is the allowance I gave. I'll do the same thing for the other side. So it's come back and show you how to turn it to have a smooth, a very, very smooth sewing experience on the right side. Because if your material is quite stretchy or something, you find it difficult to turn it up smoothly. So let me join these two together and show you what next to do. Okay, now here we have a hemming gum. This is a hemming gum, and what I like doing is, after I'm done with joining it on this side, I iron flat from the wrong side, iron it so that it will be flat. Then I fold it towards the right side and still give it a good press. Then everything lies neat, smooth. So the extra touch is to get your hemming gum, then put it underneath here. I hope you are seeing what I'm doing. Then I get more hemming gum to complete the length of where I'm going to be ironing. Yes, just like this. And iron. Now when you do this, automatically it holds this turn-up sleeve for you in a very nice way. So when you are done ironing it, it just stays this way. Now when you are running your stitch, nothing wrinkles, nothing, it just glides over very, very smoothly. So this is what I like doing to my turn-up sleeve before I stitch. Now here is the one I've already attached the hemming gum to. As you can see, it's lying perfectly smooth. You see, lying down perfectly smooth. So this way you tend to sew much more easily without any big hassle. So that's the sewing technique.